We started?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, how are you?
Hello.
Hope you all are doing well. Do me a favor, hit the share button. You're probably going to need what we're going to share about today for your lunch. So I'm going to take my moment now to get on my phone and make sure I hit the share button as well.
Let me go ahead and share.
Yeah.
Share now.
We did learn that, I just learned that today is International Women's Day.
Yes.
Do you want to tell them about the National Women's Day and the National Women's Movement?
The National Women's Movement. Of course, whenever you have a month that is centered around a particular demographic, that is because that demographic does not receive the recognition that they need. So, therefore, the month of March is always Women's History Month in order to just honor and celebrate the very influential women in your life. So if you haven't done so, just tell a woman that is important to you how much you appreciate her. Okay?
Well, I'll take this moment to say, Danielle, in honor of International Women's Month, is it month or is it?
It's a whole month, but today is the special day.
Okay, in honor of International Women's Day, I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
And I support what you do. So we're going to jump right on in. You know, let me respond to this text message. Somebody asked me, how do I watch it? And I don't want anybody to miss what we're going to share because it will be something pretty phenomenal. Facebook.
I'm going to put all my phones up. They're on silent. Put them all to the side.
I think I handled that pretty fast. Jump right on. Oh, that's my voice. Okay. So let's jump on in. So hey guys, again, my name is Evan Brown. I am a student success coach here at what we consider to be one of the greatest institutions on this side of Huntsville, which is Drake State Community and Technical College, where you can come here and leave here totally different. And I'm joined today by an awesome woman who is an English professor, a financial guru, a planner, a prioritizer. She's an entrepreneur in her own right. She's like low-key like Huntsville's next Oprah. Danielle Smitherman. And she's a true testament of being able to live out your dreams and live the most comfortable life possible, but do what you love to do each and every day. And so I had her here with me today to do something special with our broadcast, just to kind of really share. One thing that we know about lunchtime is sometimes you'll sit down and you'll eat, you'll get on Instagram, you'll get on Facebook, you'll be doing everything except probably feeding the pieces of you that need to be fed. So here we are. In 20 minutes or less, we are going to feed the pieces of you that you need help with.
I'm going to time him.
Because I'm a little along with it. Today's theme is entitled The Way to Win. So I'm sure you want to be a winner. Don't you want to be a winner?
Yes.
I kind of consider myself to already be a winner in more than one way. But one thing that I can say that has always helped me win when I figured out why I was losing so much was the fact that planning was not a strong suit of mine. Mm-hmm. So we're going to take a quick poll. Be honest. How many of you guys can say, I plan pretty well? And I'm going to watch to see how you respond. Who's going to be honest? Let me turn it down.
You can't mute it?
I can't mute. There it is. We got one person said they don't plan very well. Great. I can put myself in there. I used to not plan very well. How about you, Danielle?
No.
You always been a good planner? Is it the woman thing in you? Is that just kind of comes with the Women's History Month?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, naturally, many of us are not the best planners. However, there are ways to get around and ways to strengthen that weakness that you have when it comes to not planning. I'll tell you guys this. One of the hard lessons I learned when failing to plan was that I pretty much had a lot of failures that could have been ultimate successes, but because I just didn't plan. Or the favorite one, I waited too late to try to plan. Procrastination. I'm not even sure where we picked that up at, but that's what happens to most of us because of life experiences, got kids, got a job, got to get to work, got to do all these things, and it's like, man, I should have made this plan. I wanted to make this plan, and this plan never happened. So we jumped in here today just to kind of really shift your mindset. So you have to plan because there's power in planning, and I'm going to give you this nugget. This one's free, and if you want to sew into me, just Cash App Evan S. Brown. If you don't plan, you're actually never going to win. You're actually never going to be successful. Your life is always going to be mediocre. Your life is always going to be bottom shelf. It's always going to be at a level that it did not have to be because you chose not to plan. I know that you've always been a planner because you're like Superwoman. Name one time when you did not plan the way you should have and what was the outcome? And don't make me give you one because I got one in mind.
You got one? Okay, honestly, I would say that last year, 2017, with my new planner, with the 2018 planner, I was a little behind, and I don't know if it was so much as the planning, because I knew when I needed to have things done, and I had it in my head, and I had a schedule, but it was other things that I had going on that kind of prevented me from actually putting it in place.
Do you mind if I highlight one of those things? I want to tell you one thing that destroys our planning and our forward planning, especially once we've kind of gotten something started: success. She's not going to say it, but I will. Danielle sold like 600 planners last year on her first go-run of making a planner. Like, who does that? Let's do some math. 600 times, how much is planners? $30? $30. That's a lot.
Don't have my money.
That's a win. You know, but that's one thing, that's a key thing. Like, many of us are very successful when it comes to our personal lives, our career goals, what we have set out to do. We are making it. We are making it happen. But one thing about it, you get so comfortable being where you are, even though where you are is good, that it's like, you know what? The hunger and the thirst and the efforts you put in the first time, it kind of slips out of your mind because you were such a success. Can you say that? Do you think that might have been part of it?
A little bit.
I think that was great. And I can say that because I worked with Danielle on putting together her first planner, and Danielle was like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And one thing about it was that she, just like most people, like most women, when you need to find something, I guess I'm going to highlight the women. I know as a man, we tentatively, if we can't do it, if you're smart, you'll outsource. If you're not, you'll try to waste your time and effort and resources trying to do something you couldn't do. Yeah. Women, they are pretty smart. They figure it out the first time around. And that's probably what you did with the planner, was like with the layout. Like, you know how most people, if anybody wants to do a plan, I can give you a Kickstarter kit. Don't waste your time trying to create your own layout. It's monstrous. Yeah. It's monstrous. However, there are people that you can find to do the layout for you. Shameless plug. Danielle makes planner layouts. But I said all that to say that planning, one of the hindrances to your future and success when it comes to planning is your past success. Because you're doing well. I promise you this. Everybody probably watching this knows that they're going to go back and watch the replay. You're doing pretty well for yourself. Your life may not be perfect. It may not be where you desire for it to be at the end, but you are doing pretty good for yourself right now. And let's take a moment. Let's take a moment to applaud you for where you are. You are doing amazing. Now, granted, and all of that, don't stay there because you don't want to. It's good now, but it won't be the same level of good in 365 days or 2.5 years. But I think that you guys kind of catch the gist of planning. But also on another end of planning, once you have a plan, you've got to prioritize on what's really good, what's really important.
It's my turn.
It's your turn.
Okay, well, for any of you who have my planner, it is the priority planner. And I think that a lot of times, I know especially when I first started doing the planner, I have been one of those people who have planned all my life. Like even when I was in high school and I used to have like a school planner and I used to write all of that in my planner.
Never kept up on mine.
Yeah, I used to write everything down. So that's how my mom used to figure out everything I was doing. So, but
even the bad?
Even the bad.
You even planned out your bad.
Definitely planned out the bad.
There's a wisdom nugget in all your planning, even in your bad. You might want to plan your bad too. It could help you out.
It was no, but I've always planned, but a lot of people don't actually know exactly how to do it, and that's where your prioritizing comes in. And I know a lot of times you hear people say, get your priorities together, and it sounds good because of course a priority should be planning, but then how do you plan? So this is what you have to kind of realize. We know that we wake up in the morning and we're on our way to work, and we know that we have a million things that we have to do. Like we have a list of these things, but you have to figure out what is your top priority. That means no matter if something happens and they call a meeting and you get stuck, if you're working on that top priority, even those little bitty things, you'll feel accomplished. So a lot of times this is what we do. We do the easy first. and the hard lasts. So what the hard ends up doing is getting pushed back.
The next day.
To the next day. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, I didn't make it today. So you do it tomorrow. But that's when you have to say, okay, this is my top priority. I know this report is due today. I cannot work on anything until this report is finished. And then you're going to feel accomplished because those little things, you can knock those out. How many times have you had to run errands? Like on a Saturday, you wake up, you put on a little jogging suit and your comfortable little shoes, and you're going to run around town, and you look and you say, I'll go ahead and knock this out. I could knock this out. And then the one thing that you really needed to do, you didn't do because you was knocking out little stuff that didn't matter. So that is what you have to do. You have to figure out what is the top priority. And I will kind of, since everyone's still out my business, when I was doing the 2018 planner, I had all of these ideas of things that I wanted to change because every year, well, this is my second year, I do a survey because I want to hear from the people, because if you don't get the feedback from your customers, then, and you don't try to make necessary, I can't make every single change, but if I can kind of listen and try to make necessary changes, then those will be repeat customers. So I knew things that I needed to change in the layout. And I'm funny. So when we first did the planner, we tried to hire somebody to do the layout. It didn't look like I wanted it to look. So as Evan said, me being the smart person that I am, I just got on the computer and figured out how to do my own layouts. And so when I was changing the layout, it just took a while because I was making so many changes, and for me to actually decide on the new layout and how I wanted to look this year, did I want it bigger, did I want to add this, did I want to take this out. It was so many things, and I would be like, oh, well, I'll finish that tomorrow. You know, because it's a tedious, and we don't like to do tedious and hard things. So I will say that my priority should have been to finish that layout by a certain day, and I had the day. I kept pushing the day back. And so that's really kind of what led to the procrastination. Then I still had to go through issues with new printing companies and things like that because I changed a lot of that as well. So you have to figure out, and once you have the plan and you know that you have to do certain things, then you have to prioritize those things. And I think the trick is we try to plan goals instead of planning tasks.
Yeah.
And so you don't say your plan isn't to create a planner. That's a goal. Mm-hmm. You have to know the task in order to create the planner, and then you prioritize accordingly. So I think that's the most important thing with prioritizing.
And she said something that I've never really looked at from the way it is, that we'll have an entire list, and even when we start to list things, we generally list them from big to small. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, when it gets to time to work, we start at the bottom of the list. It's almost like we just, for some reason, we've convinced ourselves that these little tasks being checked off is like a milestone or a sense of encouragement. I wonder where we got that from. When you said it, I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because I see myself doing it. Even when I make my to-do list at work, I think I legitimately work from the bottom up. Basically implying that I don't stick to my priority or recognize what should be a priority, and that's probably part of it.
And that's one reason why people feel like they're working so hard.
Yeah.
Because you're working so hard on things that you probably shouldn't even be working on anyway. Because if you go ahead and finish the big things, little things, it's like something you can drop off on the way home from work. Yeah. But if you spend your day working really hard on a whole lot of little bitty things, you never get anything accomplished. And that's why people just run around like, I'm so tired.
Can I say something? That's me. That is me. I'm always like, man, like when I get ready to go home, it's like, oh.
You make a new list every day.
Yeah, and like this is the crazy thing about it. Certain things end up going over to another list, like call somebody back. Or text Craig back. Little things like that end up going over to the and I guess that makes a whole lot of sense, because I spend so much of my energy trying to take out the little foxes that I never actually work on what really needs to be done, which explains why I'm always trying to take a day off.
Exactly.
That actually probably explains why we're late to the places that we work. Not because we worked so hard, but because we worked so hard on the wrong things that we burned our minds out. And when we realize the big task is still there for tomorrow, it's like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
You don't. You're tired.
Because I know that I've got to finish this proposal or get this information, or get these requisitions done.
Or you have to work beyond your happy hour. And that is one thing in my planner. Every day, you should have a happy hour. period. And that is something that you have to do daily to make you happy. And that's not necessarily, I know when we think of happy hour, we think of, drinks. If that makes you happy, do that. But it should always be something in your happy hour. There has to be a cutoff. I was talking to Evan the other day, and I was saying how people think that when you own your own business that you don't have normal working hours. Like, there is a cutoff, and if I answered every single call when people call me, somebody called me the other night at like 11:30 about their taxes at night, and I'm thinking to myself, you would not have called H&R Block, right? So,
or your doctor's office.
You know that they close at 5. They do call after 5, but you know that they close at 5, and that is what you have to do in your mind. I know that Diddy and everybody else tells us, no sleep, I sleep when I'm dead. No, sleep now.
Yeah, because now you die early.
You'll die. It's just, you're going to be tired. You're not going to be fun to work with. You're going to be grumpy.
And then even on that, even on the flip side of that, when you don't sleep, your mind is tired. Yeah. You can't even think at maximum capacity. Productive. You're not creative when you're tired. Like, you're not. That's probably why a lot of people turn to external factors to increase their level of creativity, not because they need it, but more so because their minds are tired. Like, that's kind of wild. We've got some shifting and some realigning to do.
Yeah, we do.
But speaking of the happy hour, I know you mentioned like that. That's a great point. Everybody needs a happy hour. So I'm going to ask you guys this just to kind of keep this flowing. What is your happy hour? To you, what would be your happy hour? Would it be taking your kids to the park? Would it be, as myself, my happy hour for this year so far has been the gym. Like, is the gym your happy hour? Is it reading a book?
Job.
That's not a job.
That's on the task list.
Is it reading a book? Is it maybe trying a new wine or trying a new coffee? Or maybe if it's cooking. Some people love to cook. Like, what is going to be your happy hour? Because that makes a whole lot of sense. We have to build a break into our days. Your job builds in a lunch break.
They have to give you breaks.
But you know what's crazy? They have to give us, but for some reason we don't take lunch breaks. We'll work through lunch.
Work and eat.
Yeah.
Instead of
just kind of taking a moment to stop, to deprogram, and to unwind, and to then come back fresh. I wonder.
The main issue with being at work in lunch breaks is you should never take your lunch break at your job. You should go somewhere else, even if it is to a different department or area where you work. And a lot of companies now are doing things where they are pushing people every hour or so, get up and walk. And you'll see companies walking around buildings.
And they give you the bands.
Yeah, they give you the bands and the challenges because we're sitting at our desk and then you're overworked and you don't want to come to work and you want to quit. And it's too much. So you do, even if you just go outside, sit in your car, listen to music, like anything just to get away from your desk because you will feel like you have been sitting there 10 hours, and because you have. Yeah.
And then in that 10 hours, you have not really
just
done
on the computer
a lot. You typed, you probably sent 5 emails, you probably looked for jobs for most of them. And on top of it, you probably watched YouTube. You've done everything except be the productive person that you can be. So I think that kind of ties it up in a nutshell. Like, you got to first set a plan, be okay planning, and then on top of it, once you get a plan, you actually have to set a priority. Each day, you should have a top priority. So I'm going to challenge you guys again. What's going to be, what time is it?
You're doing good.
It's 12:30.
We done started at 12:10.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys this. What's your top priority? Or ask yourself, what should have been my top priority this morning at 8:15 when I clocked in? We'll wait. What's the Jeopardy music? Let me know. Not too loud. I need to think about what should have been my top priority too. Today.
Well, I know yesterday my top priority should have been to pack.
I was thinking that.
But now I have to do it today, and then I have to leave today.
And I should have done that too, because actually last night, trying to pack, trying to wash, made me not be able to go to the gym. So I don't think I had a happy hour yesterday.
You didn't have a happy? I didn't have a happy hour either.
But now I have to ask myself,
I don't think I've had a happy hour all week. I haven't.
But this is where many of us find ourselves, like right slap in the middle of this. I haven't had a happy hour all
weekend
week. Though. Okay, but even still, and that's another thing. Like, we can talk about that. Like, working really, really, really hard and trying to jam it all into the weekend. Do you realize that you're
tired?
You exhausted yourself all weekend because you exhausted yourself all week, and you have a never-ending cycle of being exhausted.
Yeah.
So your mind is never recharged. And then we want to take a day in the middle of the week.
Yeah, in the middle of the week.
What's
Yeah.
the mental health
day? Evan's great at those.
I believe that mental health days are important.
He has
but
mastered them.
I have. But nonetheless, we go to mental health days because of the fact that we have not allowed ourselves to have a moment.
And I will say, and you have to be honest with yourself as well, that sometimes we take mental health days to get away, and then when you're on that mental health day, because you have not done it or prioritized properly, you spend that mental health day doing what, Evan?
Catching up, trying to get ahead.
So it's really not a mental health day. You just don't have anyone over your back telling you what you should have already done.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's okay.
I'm going to take a mental health
You
day
can sew
tomorrow.
into my passion.
That hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That really hurts. Can I take a mental health half day? Or just be honest, I need a catch-up day.
Just
hey,
a
I'm
catch-up
behind.
day.
I'm behind.
I try to do those on Fridays. Fridays are those days, you have casual dress. You kind of, it's like, okay, it's the weekend.
It's like we work, but you really don't
Yeah,
work.
so that's when those little things, that's when you can pull those in on Friday. So make sure, like, through the week that you've done those top priorities and roll those little things over. And then have a day where I'm going to catch up on the little things, if that makes sense.
And I know for me, my little things that I need to get done, I have this target time where I do them when I'm in the car.
I do too.
And that's probably why.
Call people.
Call people.
I call
Text people
people
back, even though texting and driving is not,
We don't do
approved. And we should not do that.
The insurance will not cover. We never text and drive.
Yeah, but texting at a stoplight or texting in the drive-thru.
Yeah, I do.
That's probably why my text messages are so backed up, because I do them in the car.
I am literally horrible with text messages. The other day when we were on the fast in February, I had like 300 and something text messages, and there were text messages from over a year ago.
Now that's
and I was like,
negligence.
can I respond?
That's negligence.
That's not negligence.
That's negligence. I was saying that to lead to this point, even when it comes to, because sometimes communication with other people can be, of course, necessary and needed, but it can also be draining. Schedule that too.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you have a friend or you have someone that generally reaches out to you in a certain amount of time of requesting assistance, guidance, help, prayer, whatever it may be. Like, schedule that time. Like, schedule your people hour. My people hour is usually when I'm in the barber chair on Thursdays, because I'm not doing anything but just kind of sitting there every Thursday. But that's when I would go through and reply to messages of those that I know that, okay, this conversation is probably going to be pertinent. Cool. This gives me a solid hour to have this conversation. So that means when I get out of this chair, I have done my part. I make sure I've been, I've planned. And like, you can plan everything in life.
It may not always go
as you plan
it, but you can plan it. And that is one of the key things that I always tell people, that you change your plan, you don't change your goal. So sometimes the plan isn't going to go, but you have to have a plan in order to know that the plan doesn't work.
That's an excellent point. And another thing, I'm not sure where this thing has come about, but people feel as though routines and systems are bad. Let me tell you something. Routines and systems will make you $1 million.
They will.
Because you know why? Because it made the guy that started Zaxby's, Smoothie King, all those people, Oprah. Thank you for women's history. Give me another black woman.
Shonda Rhimes. Michelle Obama.
Okay. Anybody else?
Me.
Like, routines and systems actually work.
They do.
What the problem I think is that we have jumped and we have been in bad routines and systems for so long that we have completely canceled out the opportunity and the option for what that's supposed to be. I think the best term would be like healthy systems, healthy routines. Certain things like, okay, if I'm going to get up every day at 5 a.m., that means I'm probably going to need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb at 9 p.m. of the night before.
And Do Not Disturb, you have to do Not Disturb.
It's a feature on your phone.
For a reason.
Yeah. It'll help your mind even like to deprogram and to stop thinking about the phone when the phone is not ringing. Because most of the times you'll grab your phone, not because it's ringing.
Just because it's a habit.
It's a part of our routine that we have. Let me check my phone to see what everybody else is doing instead of focusing on what I should be doing. So I challenge you guys with even this. Look at your routines. See the good things in your routines. Keep them, but then also get rid of those bad things. Because routines actually help you build consistency. And when you're consistent, you're disciplined. And when you have discipline, you are guaranteed to make some major moves. And major moves turn into a very successful and happy life.
Amen. That was good.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna, can you quote that and then put tagging me on Facebook for anybody who does that, and I can make a little picture out of it and make it an e-message. Even with that, my routine for my e-message, like as much as like I'm building a business and a brand, or continue to build a business and a brand through what I do, and I understand the power of social media. So for anybody who's an entrepreneur who has a venture, you have to even have a routine or build your posting in your routine. I started off with I did an e-message 3 times a week. Now, because I've got the consistency piece, I do an e-message twice a week, but I've also now shifted to Saturday because I realize that most people are off on Saturdays. And what do you do?
They lay in the bed
and do this.
I have not been on social media a lot lately.
That's really? I
haven't. When we were off for that week.
Yeah.
I haven't been back on there. I'm gonna do that.
Because that's imperative with you selling planners. You have the financial advising and taxes and all those different things. It's important for you to be, for a part of your plan and your priorities, to include you being on social media, because nobody can buy your stuff if you're not visible.
If you're not, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I know some amazing people with a great product or a great service,
and they don't market.
And they're like, "Oh my God, nobody buys my stuff." Well, yeah, you didn't post anything about it. Mm-hmm. But why has it got to be social media? Because everybody has social media. Your grandmother has social media. Your mom has a Facebook. My mom has a Facebook. Make sure she's not what. My mom has a Facebook. She'll jump in late, but guess what? The point is that she's on there. So why not place what you do in front of people that can see?
And the Facebook moms support the Facebook moms.
Yes, they do.
To tell you.
They may not know how to share it, or when they do share it, it's going to be really late at night. And you're going to wonder, why are you up? But it's like, it's somehow, some way they pressed share and it worked.
They're going to tell you how beautiful you are and how much you've grown.
Or if it's like my mom, she'll comment on it, "You need a haircut." Why didn't you text that to me? We go on Thursdays.
Facebook moms are great.
Yeah. But we said all that to say planning and prioritizing has to be one of the biggest things that you force into your life, that you force into your daily routines. Because if not, you're not going to be where you know that you could be. Because one thing about it, you're probably so gifted, so creative, so resourceful. You're probably an amazing speaker. You have phenomenal ideas. But the thing is, you just can't sort through your own life and mind enough to be able to hone in on those things to build it to be what it's supposed to be. And even if you have something that's moving and flowing, because of your lack of scheduling and your lack of planning and prioritizing, what you do, you're not able to maximize what you do. Real simple. And with that being said, can I do this right now? I think I should do this right now. So, starting Monday, March, one thing that I've learned is that there's a lot of power in your words. I realized that when I started to speak the right things about what I had and what I wanted to see, it's like my reality had to adjust to the words that I spoke. And so I've created this 21-day March Forward challenge. It's going to be 21 days of pure positivity. I will tell you guys this. This last year of my life, I did a lot of traveling, and for some reason, me and planes got along really well, and I got some amazing ideas on planes. So even with my routines and systems, I've planned trips throughout the year, not necessarily to get away, but more so because of the things that I'm able to kind of grab out of the clearness in my mind when I'm on a plane. But this is where this came from. I have 15 declarations over your business, your book, your endeavor, your music, your nonprofit, your religious group, your ministry, your clothing line, whatever it is that you have that you do. You need positivity within that. You need to say the right things or something. Most of us don't see the results and the fruit from what we try to produce because we just aren't saying anything. We're working, but we're not using our words, because your words and your hands, like, they produce the same amount of results. You can say some things and some things move, and you can work some things and some things move and grow. So I want to encourage you guys to join my March for tips for not procrastinating. Cam, just do it.
Hey, Cam.
Cooking with Cam is like a chef in Atlanta. He is doing an amazing thing. He is like, that's somebody who's really doing some powerful, powerful, powerful things. But procrastinating, you just got to do it, man.
And I will say one thing.
Get Danielle's planner, too.
Yes, DanielleLevon.com. When you actually sit down and write out a plan, it is a level of accountability.
Yeah.
Do you know how much is in my phone? Like, people like to say, well, I just put that as a reminder in my phone. And you know how you have your watch, you have your phone, and the reminder comes up, and what do? and you keep on about your life. But if you have a planner and you have sat down and you have written out your plans,
It's intentionality.
It's intentional. And then when you look back, and like in my planner, I have a scale. And so you kind of rate yourself on how productive you are. And there have been times that I was just like, just throw the whole week away, but it's a level of accountability. So you have actually written it down. Now, if you can't look at your plan and see where you're going wrong and why you're procrastinating, then I don't know what can help you.
That's when it takes some internal searching.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you this, Cam, one thing that's helped me in learning to be the best I can be with my planning and not procrastinating is actually creating my plan on Sunday night.
Yes.
I know Sundays, like Sunday fun days, like you may go to church, you may cook, have dinner with friends or whatever like that. But before you go to bed, even if you do it in your phone, just write it in. But when you get to somewhere stationary, it needs to be written on something.
Write it.
But doing it on Sunday night really, really helps, because think about it. When you wake up Monday, I know if you wake up Mondays like me, probably a little behind schedule, still tired from the weekend because you did not have a chance to get the rest you wanted. But you need to say, okay, just because I'm tired, Monday still goes on. Monday, there's still a task that's waiting on me at work, whether I get there at 8:30 or whether I get there at 1 o'clock. I still got work to do. So what helps with that is knowing what's going into your week before your week starts. Because a lot of stuff that we'll try to pile into Monday, they're not really Monday tasks.
They're not. Mm-hmm.
They're like more like a Tuesday, Thursday task. Like, seriously, like you can really look at what you do and then be like, you know what? This is not, my mind on Monday is just trying to get through Monday. Mm-hmm. So that means that you're not going to put, certain meetings or certain things or, on a Monday, because your mind on Monday is not where it needs to be. But your Tuesday mind is like, okay, I'm close to Friday. Now my Wednesday mind is as fresh as it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Thursday, in and out. Friday,
it's time for the weekend.
It's time for the weekend. But knowing looking at that and knowing that stuff on Sunday night helps me so much, because I know that pretty much Tuesday through Thursday, I'm working.
And I would say for Cam, he's one of those people like with the business planner.
Yeah.
Like his days may not be a typical work day. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. I think that society has made us feel like Monday is the beginning of every work day. But
that's not true.
You look at a lot of people and they don't work on Mondays. If you're in the hair industry, mm-hmm. A lot of them take off because they work the weekends. Yeah. So they don't work on Mondays or they don't work on Tuesdays. So you have to figure out what is best for you. What is your day where you can sit down and you can actually plan, where you have the option to turn your phone on do not disturb. Mm-hmm. Where it's a free moment for you to actually think and decide, like, what days do I need to get this done? And that's where the prioritizing comes in, because a lot of times we want to say we're going to do everything on Monday. You're not.
Nah.
No, you're not going to do everything, or you're going to do everything on Tuesday. You kind of have to figure out what's the priority, when do I have to get it done, and then you kind of, if you don't pour everything into one day mm-hmm. or 1 hour, or I'm going to get this done, then you won't procrastinate. Because sometimes the task seems so big, we don't even want to start on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really what it is. Mm-hmm. And I'll also suggest this, try a task-based system, where it's like you put the top priority, but you lay out the task that needs to be. So say, if you have a dinner party for 50 people, great. So Monday may just be deciding on the menu. Tuesday, make your task maybe, or some of your tasks maybe shopping, mm-hmm. or splitting up your shopping. So if you go to the store and you say, I need to do beverage and all these and plates and stuff, do all that stuff on Monday. And then Tuesday, you go do
the
food and then,
items,
and then maybe Wednesday you start. Like Wednesday is preparation with seasoning and stuff. That you really have to kind of honestly spread your week out so that you can breathe, and also for you to be effective in doing everything else that you're supposed to do. Because especially about being an entrepreneur and having your own thing, you still got to do what you do. And you got to do what you love outside of that, in addition to. So you're going to need to have as much of your mind as you can to be able to go forward. So try the task-based system, make a task. But Danielle has a priority planner, which is, I love it because just give me something I can check off my list. It's a task-based one where it's really just, you get the priority, you put your top 3, and then the rest of them are just tasks that need to be completed. And you check them off based upon the task, and you set the task by the day. So I would encourage that if you have a chance to head over to Danielle Levant and get the business edition, because that task-based system is really going to help anybody who has any kind of something where you have to have steps involved. that task-based system is going to work best for you.
And I also have like notepads. Some of us don't like planners, and I know that. And so I do have like these desk pads, and you can just put them on your desk. And so it has your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just on the pad. When you're done, it's like a big sticky note. Just tear it off and start on the next week. Because I know people they're not like me. Me and Evan went shopping the other day. He was like, "Why do you have your planner?" Because
we were in Staples and she had a planner. I was like, "Why do you have a planner?"
Because I wrote my stuff in my planner. Because I literally write things in there, or sticky notes are stuck in there, and that's
meanwhile I had a half a sheet of paper is torn on it, and I had what we needed to get written on that sheet of paper. So it's finding your place and finding your best way to do what needs to be done. So I thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Danielle, for jumping in and being a part of our Way to Win series. If you guys have any questions about what she does, head over to DanielleLevon.com. Also, if you have any questions about what I do, you can go to IamEvanBrown.com. I have some amazing things up there, as does she. And also, I will be going live with my 21-day March Forward Challenge tonight, probably around like 7-ish. See what happens? I didn't plan what time I was going to do that, because if I planned it properly, I could have dropped it right now.
And he could have dropped the flyer.
All that could have been done right now. But because I didn't plan and didn't prioritize my Thursday, I missed a moment where I had an audience. But I would say this because you guys are so gracious and you guys are learning as I learn. You guys would not mind going back to my social media outlets around 7 o'clock and downloading your challenge packet. Join the Facebook group. It'll be daily encouragement, daily tasks, updates. I want to know what's going on with you so that I can say, at the end of these 21 days, man, we are marching forward into the best season of our life with the best results.
Into the new quarter.
Into the new quarter. I like
the way.
That's big. She's such a businessman. New quarter. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back again in a couple weeks with a Way to Win. Hopefully I can get on Danielle's schedule. And then maybe we can come back again and you guys can join us. But thank you all so much for being a part. And we look forward to connecting with you guys pretty soon. Have a good one.
Bye.